Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. Welcome to being your own CEO. This is a weekly success circle for solopreneurs. And we get together because we enjoy each other's company and we like sharing and exchanging information. For me, it's all about giving and receiving support. My name is Lowell Ann, and I've been in business since 1996, helping people get where they want to go. So this morning, I thought I might just remind us all of our operating principles. We where you look at relationships before business, a reminder that we can get everything in life and business if we help enough other people get what they want. And that I need to attribute that to Zig Ziglar. We stand for positive possibilities and keep an open mind, and we never sell anything we're not prepared to sell impeccably. So that's the operating principles that we like to work from. So the next in the agenda would be to invite my green room participants to introduce themselves, say what their name is and where they are and what they do, and share a little piece of good news, a discovery, a win, a learning. Let's see, I think, Wiwek, I'll probably go with you first because you were first here. So just let me get... So, Wiwek, I'm trying to make my system show you.
Namaste. My name is Vivekanand. People call me Vivek. And I believe in living a simple life. I believe in thinking differently. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. So, if you have projects that you are struggling to integrate and make things simple for you, can reach out. For some reason, I'm not able to put up my upper third, lower third. So sorry about that. But,
Vivek, your sound is very, very faint.
Yeah, I am having problems with the...
Yes, I knew that. But it's not as good as it was earlier when we were in the green room.
Okay.
So whatever that means. But welcome here. It's nice to have you here again, Wiwek. And looking forward to the little presentation that you said you developed. So we'll get there. So welcome. So Paul, you're next in line.
Good morning. I'm Paul in Victoria, British Columbia. And my company's TTG International Management, where we turn ideas into profitable action. Happy things that happened recently. I had a wonderful meeting on Friday with one of our fellow members in the room and another local business person to see if we could organize some business together, and hopefully that'll move forward.
It was like when Smith and Wesson met for the first time.
With a bullet.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it's pretty obvious who met with whom. So that's good. Welcome here, Paul. It's nice to have you as usual. And Nathan, I see that you don't have a lower third, but perhaps
no.
and I know that Nathan is recovering from a laryngitis attack, so So take it away as best you can, Nathan.
It's going to be short. Major thing over the last number of months, showing people how to end suffering. Bit of a transition to showing people how to end that in terms of bullying. Other major thing, came up with a cool business concept, a done-for-you book publishing concept based on what I've been doing for years. Mm-hmm. And it's been very well received, so I'm building that. So that's what's going on.
Right on. And I heard you say in the green room that there were several things that you were wanting to do, but you had to put on hold until your voice is better. And that same thing happened to me. I was all ready to do something in December, and I had to put it on hold, waiting for a voice to come back. So,
yeah, not much you can do when that happens.
It's a bummer, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, it's. I'm glad to see that you're with us again, and that perhaps you're feeling a little better at least. So.
Well, yeah, I was taking a bit of a chance this morning, voice-wise, but I thought I'd like to see you guys again. It's been a while.
Yeah. Right on. So welcome. And Jane, you're last in the line and the last to join us. So how would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. My name is Jay, and my company is Magi Studios, and we help get people started in the world of online business. As Paul mentioned, had a great meeting on Friday, which has actually already followed up today and yesterday. As I said, it's like the meeting of Smith and Wesson for the first time. It was a wonderful meet, and I'm sure lots of great things will happen going forward.
That's wonderful. And that's really, really good news when, in terms of the way I feel about this. My purpose in holding this regular success circle is so that people will do business together, and it's a prime example of what we want to talk about this morning, isn't it? That we model modeling engagement in social media. So that's a prime example. So that's really, really good news. So last time we were talking about let's see, we were talking about getting on and focusing on the user experience, etc. And somehow or other we kind of came in this direction in terms of we observe people, and I'm going to speak about Google Plus in particular, but I would guess that the other platforms are no different. It's really kind of disconcerting to see people come in there and just do nothing but plaster the world with advertising, and kind of wonder why they're not getting, why the business isn't rolling in, etc., etc. And realizing that all of to make social media work from a business perspective, it really is about engagement and relationships. And so how do we do that? How do we model? I mean, the only way that we have to bring newbies when they come on, to bring them along, is to model the right kind of behavior. So we decided that maybe we needed to expand on that a little bit for this morning. How do we do that? So I don't know if anybody has something they would like to start off with this morning. I just know that engagement takes, well, here I am saying I don't know if anybody has anything to say, and I'm going to say it. Engagement takes conversation. And so pushing adverts out on people is not conversation. So,
Yeah.
anybody have a reaction to that?
I have. Can you hear me now?
A little bit. It's not very clear, but we can hear.
Oh. Okay. I need to do something about the sound. Um, Anyway, yeah, I had made a short presentation. I wonder whether it's the right time or it's up to you when you want me to. It's a couple of slides, and I'd like to do a screen share and share it with the viewers.
Go for it.
Okay, so you have probably registered with Google Plus and make sure your Google Plus profile has all of your professional details, how to contact you, your website, etc., etc. And you're now wondering why buyers aren't queuing outside your front door. Because nothing works that way. You need to share your passion, make postings about your passion on Google Plus. It could be anything. Your love of music, movies, food, cats, dogs, horses, horse racing, mountain climbing, anything. Anything that you can talk for hours. When people who do not know you check out details about you, they see what your interests are as they check your collections. Then don't forget the view all link there that shows all collections that you have put together. For example, when I check out somebody, I would check all of these things. People would respond to your posts, then check out their G Plus profiles and add them to your circles unless you feel that they are totally undesirable characters. I have had to ignore some of the characters because they were actually promoting pornography and the like. So
Yeah.
those are the undesirable, obviously not required at all. So next step is to create a bookmark in your browser. Go to https://plus.google.com/stream/mentions and add a bookmark. You would need to be logged into your G Plus account, but when you do that and you visit the bookmark at least once every day, then engage in a conversation. You do this by plus mentioning their names. When they check your response.
Vivek, can I stop you for a minute to ask a question?
Yeah.
How is that bookmark different from the mentions that are the notifications within all of the Google products?
The notifications that come will show up only once. When you read them, they are gone. You can, of course, go back and check out the notifications which are already read. Notifications vanish once you see them. Once you have scrolled past them, they are considered to be seen and they no longer will be visible to you. So this bookmark is very essential.
Well, that's a huge upgrade, because that's been one of the pieces about the notifications that I have found. disconcerting. So that's great.
Yeah. So for this whole thing to work, plus mentioning someone's name is very important.
Yes.
When because when they check your response, they would probably, hopefully, do the same, plus mention you, and in which case uh, both of you would get responses. You would see, you would see their responses when you visit the bookmark, and when you reply, you would have started a conversation. So, plus mentioning their names is very important, because when you do that, they would get a notification, and they can also see your response when they visit their bookmark. Um, if and when they are looking for a solution, solve their problems, they might very well be in your physical location, but looking for nearest donut shop. But when you direct them to the most popular donut shop in your area, you have solved one of their problems. So, solve their problems. That's my short presentation.
Thank you, Vivek, and I think it's so important to emphasize that the plus mention is really how to begin a conversation, and if you don't put the plus mention, then it doesn't show up anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless, in some cases, if you are on a Hangout and you put a comment in on in the comment stream in a Hangout, sometimes it'll show up if you've already posted something else. But usually, I mean, the plus mention is really, really, really important.
Yeah. You're mentioning Hangouts, and by that you mean comment on a Hangout. By that you mean on an event page.
Yes. Yeah.
But
so what about
for the host?
Say again?
Event page, Hangouts on air, all that is valid only for the host.
Yeah.
Only the host will get notified when someone puts anything on. For example, someone puts any comment on your event page, you would get a notification.
My experience is a little bit different, Vivek. When if I've been on a Hangout and I added some comments once, and my name was mentioned, or there was a comment, it will pop up in my notifications.
Yeah, if they mention your name, obviously, if they just mention your name, obviously you'll get a notification. But if otherwise, typically you won't, unless you have set the it's part of that settings.
Yeah. Okay. So Paul and Jay and Nathan, what about you? How do you manage, or what do you notice about getting that engagement going? What are the things that you find that you need to do in order to get that going? Anybody?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things that I like to do is whenever I'm writing posts, whether it's for myself or for clients, sorry, I'm just getting an echo, is I like to write the post as if I'm writing a letter. So I usually start with "Hi, folks," and comma, and then I'll write, what it is I'm trying to say, and then I usually ask for engagement in various ways, such as, oh, well, what do you think? What's your thought on this? I'd love to get your feedback. And I make it as if I'm asking for help, because we all know Canadians like to help, and I'm sure everyone else around the world like to help as well. So by making it as if there's the perception of you're asking for help from people, I personally find that it helps kind of start the engagement, you know. And you know, and engagement doesn't always necessarily need to be where people chime in and comment. It could be literally like a +1 or you know, something as mundane as that, and you know, we don't have to worry about that. You know, beyond that, you know, one thing that I've actually started to do is, now that I have a relatively large following in Google Plus, I'm seeing my stuff show up in the SERPs, or they are starting to see my posts in the SERPs whenever they're Googling something relevant. So what I've started to do, which seems to have started to work quite well, and that is, before putting the "hi folks," I actually create a meta snippet, so basically a meta description. Because if you look at a Google Plus post, you'll notice it'll say what you started writing or something, and then just this garbled text all over the place. But if you actually create a title, and then you put I don't know what it's called, but it's like one of those vertical lines on your keyboard. Yeah. What is it?
A straight up and down line.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. Shift diagonal, shift backslash, and then put in your meta description, just like you would do with a post or page. It dramatically cleans up the SERP, you know, the post in the SERP. So now it helps with keywords, it helps with rankings and whatnot. Yeah.
So Jay, you need to interpret what SERP means. I think some of us know what the meaning is, but just in case there are people out there who don't.
Yeah, sure. SERP is SERP, and it stands for Search Engine Result Pages. Mm-hmm. Search Engine Result Pages. So it's basically the page that you see after you Google something. So if you Google, you know, plumber Seattle, and then whoosh, all your results are there, that's the search engine result page. Yeah. And we call it SERP for short.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that. It's, you know, you get talking and you just start, you know, talking about the flux capacitor, and you know, you're assuming everyone knows what it is.
I know. I mean, all these big long titles drive us all crazy, but we have to find some way to shorten it. I understand that.
Yeah, but I'm finding doing the.
Let me just make sure that I understand what it was that you just said. So when you're doing a posting, just a straight posting, to put in a title and a straight up and down line, and then a very short descriptor saying what this is about, followed by "hi folks, da 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 da."
I'll create a screenshot here.
So we are all going back to the future, are we?
So I just posted
Oh, you posted I thought you were going to do a screen share.
Oh, I can totally do that too. That's easier.
Because I got you on the screen.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So there's my example. So here is the title, which I made bold by putting the asterisks in between. Yeah. There's my little vertical line.
Yeah.
And there's my, there's my, basically my meta description.
Aha.
Okay.
Right on.
Yeah.
And so that I was particularly interested in that because this week I tried doing some posting from the business hangout. No, wait a minute. How did I do that? I guess it was my blog, and I was trying to share it from Google Plus over to Facebook, and that was one of the things that I noticed was the title and the descriptor and everything was all kind of it landed over in Facebook in a very kind of garbled way.
Yeah. And if you look at this screenshot, I actually even did a Google Plus post on doing this. And as a result, here is the result. So on the left is the SERP, the search engine result page.
Yeah.
On the right is the technique that I've done. So, and as you can see, it looks way better than a typical Google Plus post.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really valuable piece of information in terms of having your posting set up.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of, the whole engagement piece is you got to put something out that really attracts people and so forth. So.
Yeah.
But then, what is it that the reader needs to do when they see that? And that's where what Vivek was saying comes in. You click on it and you see it, and you decide what you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you mentioned the +1.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a sense that many people. +1, they do a lot of +1ing, and we sort of wonder what exactly that means.
It's because it's easier and it's faster.
It's easy and fast to say I read it.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And sometimes even I agree with it.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a world where time is so slim in terms of the things that we do now. So, and I think that +1 is just a quick way to say awesome, a thumbs up, great job, because I think people feel pressured when it comes to leaving comments. People feel pressured to leave, some profound piece of comment so that they don't look like what they would perceive as an idiot. So. I think
let's talk about that a little bit, because I can certainly remember when I first started getting involved, etc. Puzzling over that. So what do you do? And it took me quite a long time of watching what other people were doing, but I came to realize that at least for me the answer was, and it started out in responding to Hangouts, but I think it spills over into responding to a posting. Is the value that I take away from my takeaway. What I might want, the reason that I find that this is valuable to me. How you might use it in the future. That's way more valuable to the person who posted that than just saying great post. Great post is nice, and sometimes that's really. I think by texting great post is really pretty much the same as plussing.
You brought up a good point there, and when you said texting, great point. That's the other thing, is a lot of people through social media are on mobile devices where replying and writing comments is not as easy as it would be on a keyboard, right? So hence why people are more inclined to just +1 as opposed to doing this to leave some sort of profound piece of comment. I personally, I hate texting. I hate it. I can't stand doing it. So.
Well, I'm trying to teach myself to use the verbal texting.
Yeah.
But so So I mean when you use that word, I can't think of something profound. I mean that right in that phrase, there's that, oh my God, I've got to do something that's really wonderful here. Like it puts pressure. But I found that if I could just say, just say why I find it valuable.
And I think it's also depends on the complexity of the initial post, right? So something like that, which is kind of technical and I guess you can say it's advanced, people they're like, oh, I don't know what to say, right? But if I posted a picture of a cat licking a turtle shell or something, kind of cute, funny thing, then people would be like, oh, that's awesome, way to go, that's so cute, So I think it starts with the complexity of the initial post.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And it's going to vary from platform to platform.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if the post is profound, then absolutely it's going to be a little more challenging to put a reply in, right? So I find myself doing the same thing because I always like to try to leave, again, depending on the post, witty replies and then also something, maybe an additional tip that I've found, right? So
yeah. So there's the other piece is, you led into it really nicely. The really nice thing about functioning on Google Plus is to really remember that you're there to either share something or educate people. So teaching them something that they maybe didn't know before. And so if you know something that's additional, never be afraid of giving away your secrets, because I mean, if you can help somebody move along in their business or in their work or in whatever it is that they're trying to do, they're going to remember you. And they're going to feel, and the person who posted that will find that extremely valuable, and they will remember you and possibly share something that you've done or follow you or whatever. That's how it all starts, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's almost a progression there. That I've noticed within Google Plus. You start out by plussing, and then the next thing is you do a comment and maybe plus mention that person so that they know that their piece was read, and by adding something about how you might use it or what value it was for you or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next level would be to share something that you know.
Yeah.
So there is a progression there, and you become, as you move through that progression, your confidence level begins to grow, because then you see how people respond to that. So as a poster, if I post something and somebody puts in a comment and so forth, I notice that, and then it in turn makes me more interested in them, and then I'm going to start watching what they're doing, and isn't that the beginning of a conversation eventually?
Yeah.
But it happens in little pieces.
Yes. Yeah. I think also it builds your authority. When you're engaging with your audience, even you're engaging with people who are not within your circles, you're building your author authority. I mean, if you are your brand, it's important that you put your brand out there. So, and one of the best ways is through engagement, and the engagement doesn't have to necessarily always exist inside social media ecosystem. It can go outside of the ecosystem. It can go outside of, you can do blog commenting, and not you know, I mean, there's the people. A lot of people see the benefit of blog commenting by having a link pointing back to your own site, but from your name. You know, yeah, sure. But there's very little value in that these days. And there's more value providing insight into what someone said. You know, and I mean, a really easy technique to try to find things to comment on would be to set up a Google alert. So you go to google.com/alerts and type in various related phrases or keywords that are considered within your niche realm. And when those come up, and if they're blog posts, you can go, or if they're content pieces that have commenting areas, then by all means, you know, go ahead and leave a comment there. You know, another one is to go into Discus. You can go into Discus because there's a lot of websites use a commenting platform called Discus, DISQUS, and
you heard me. You heard my thought. I just tell that.
And they have widgets or modules that you can pop onto your site, you know, to basically replace WordPress's commenting system. But it's a centralized system, so you can actually go to Discus, log in, and you can find a plethora of different things to comment on, right? Which would not only show inside Discus, but also anywhere that comment feed is shown on a website, right? Kind of similar to Facebook comments that people tend to use, right? So I find there's really big value in that, you know.
That's a new one for me. I did not know about Discus, so
yeah.
That's worth checking out.
Yeah.
So, but again, getting back to this concept of a progression of things and development of your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think for a lot of people that's what it is. So the biggest compliment you can give somebody is to share what they just posted to your circles and your community. That's the biggest compliment you can give, and it's going to get by the poster is going to get lots and lots of attention from them.
Yeah.
And it allows you, if it was something that was really valuable to you, and you think it would be valuable to your community, so not only are you giving the poster additional profile, you're also serving to educate your own circles and your own community. And that's a very valuable thing. So it's a double prong. You get a double whammy out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, I mean, when somebody does that, it's incumbent on the person who did the original post to go in and acknowledge and thank the person for that reshare. Yeah, absolutely. So now there's another way to do things, and sometimes I've used this, and hopefully it has the desired effect. Sometimes I'll see somebody's post, and they have just shared something. So I'll click on that and go in and read it, and then realize that it's much cleaner and easier for me to be on that site and just share it. But when you do that, you always want to give the person who brought it to your attention credit for having done that.
Yes.
And the way to do that is hat tip, H/T. T as in Tom.
Okay. There's a new one.
So if you do a hat tip to somebody, thanks for pointing this out, or thanks for linking to it for me, or whatever, you're giving them that and the H/T with a plus mention. So that gives them the notification that you saw it, and you're doing it this way, and giving them credit. So there's two different ways. If you get a share on a share on a share, it gets messy after a while.
Yeah.
So it's almost easier to go to that the original and share it yourself with the hat tip in your comments.
Right. It seems like you need to have a crib or a Cliff's Notes of all the various things that that are
short
printable,
codes
right?
and things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hat tip, right? Yeah.
Hat tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Japanese bow, right? So it's like, to show that they really appreciate it.
Now the other piece that I think is worthy of our talking about is, what do we do when we go to the collections and or communities that Vivek brought up in his little presentation there. So what you do, let's say that you notice some, well, I'll give you an example, and it's probably the same person that you gave an example there. Heidi, she's a person that we all link with who lives in Italy. She, one of her collections is about music. She's a musician, she teaches voice, etc., etc. So I know that I've learned that that's one of her main interests. So I've learned that about her, and so I quite often go into her collections and all of her collections and find her music collection to see what she's posting. And as a result of having done that, and as a result of my resharing a couple of things that she posted to my love of music collection, she now just automatically sends her posting to me, so I don't even have to go look for it anymore. She sends it to me because she knows that I really relate to that. So, and then that gives me an opportunity to make a comment on the music share that she's done. So going into collections, and as Vivek says, is a really good way when you visit somebody's profile to look and see what collections they have, because there might be something there that you're really interested in. And this is how the engagement starts. You find people that you have something in common with, or that know something that you want to know. And I might point out also that when you go into a collection, you're going to see all the collections of people that you follow or that you circle. But there's another little piece in there that if you find one that is particularly useful to you, there's a setting up there up on the left-hand side where you can ask Google to send you a notification when something gets posted to that collection. So that allows you to stay on top of something that's of particular interest to you.
Would you say that not a lot of people know about
most people
that little?
don't know that.
And I think that's probably why, like I've noticed since collections have come out, that engagement has gone down. And I think that could be one of the reasons why, is because people are actively putting things in collections, and the people who are following aren't receiving the notifications.
Right. You have to ask for it.
But how are you saying engagement has gone down?
People are not +1ing, commenting, resharing.
Okay.
And yet I hear other people say they're getting more engagement as a result of collections. I hear both comments.
Yeah. I don't use collections.
I learned about this little trick about asking to receive the notifications from a chap who is very active in collections, and I followed him, and he had a little mini course, and I found out about that. So
see, I always relied on, as you call it, Mr. Bojingles. In the browser. Or on the comment stream, or in the Google Plus. That's how I've always found
but Mr. Jingles get overloaded when it goes above 99.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Vivek.
When you get more than 99 notifications, Mr. Jingles just goes, that icon simply turns red, and that's it. It won't show you anymore. It shows you the last 100 notifications or something like that.
Clearly, I'm not following enough people then. I've never had 99, so. Or I check them so often, right? So, yeah.
Well, I was just going to go into collections here and see if I could screen share with you and show you.
Yeah, I was actually looking for exactly
yeah.
that.
Let's see, collections. I don't want my collections. I don't want featured. So here's one. Let's see if I can find one. Well, Street View, transfer. This is featured. Oh, here's one on photography. I'll just pull that up. And I'm not seeing what I was used to seeing. Oh, that's because I'm not following. It's got to be somebody that I'm following. All right, so I'll show you something that's. No, I hit the wrong button altogether. So carry on, and I'll find it.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think kind of something that I'd like to kind of finish up with in terms of modeling engagement for social media is, social media is certainly a world where people can get lost, confused, scared. When it comes to beginning their journey in social media. And I think a lot of people, because of this, tend to follow the +1 model, or the hat tip, as Laulan would say, And I think progressively they get more and more comfortable with leaving comments and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I don't think you need to worry about it too much. From an SEO perspective, yeah, sure, it's great to get engagement. But beyond that, I think if you think about it this, and I think Vivek kind of did something similar like this. This is actually something I heard a number of years ago at an internet marketing conference that I went to, probably a decade ago, called StomperNet. I was invited there, and I was one of their super affiliates, and they invited me to their conference. I won one of their contests, and one of the topics was about social media engagement, right? And the guy on the stage was saying, imagine I invite you to my barbecue and I bring you to the backyard, say, hey, how's it going? My name is Jay, or oh, hey, my name is Phil, and hey, I've got something to sell you. So,
Yeah.
Whereas, when you're inviting people over to a barbecue, you want to just chit-chat, chew the fat, if you will,
Yeah.
And socialize and not sell, right? And I think really that's what social media is about. Like, what's that first word? Social.
Yes.
Right? Social in social media. So it's not about selling, prospecting, or anything, right? That comes naturally. That stuff comes naturally. If you just be social, essentially do water cooler talk, network, and not sell.
Yeah.
Then you won't get what Paul calls sales breath.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Okay, I found. I'll just show you on mine. If you look up here in the right-hand corner here, no, it's here in the share. No, it's not there either. Where did it go? It's gone.
I think it's not in your collections. I think you have to look at one of
Somebody else's.
collection that you are following.
Okay. So stop sharing. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. But there is a little place up there in one of those two little buttons that will say that you want to receive the notification.
Oh, that is this one. Um,
Oh, have you got one open?
yeah, I think you mean this one. Yeah. It's also incidentally it's also very similar to Mr. Jingles. It looks like the same bell. Can you see what I'm?
Yeah.
Folks, I have to head out. Thank you very much for the talk. Appreciate the time.
Well, thank you so much for your input and that wonderful tip that you gave us.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you mean, Loveland.
No,
No?
that isn't.
Yes,
However,
that's what I'm saying.
what I'm noticing is that something has disappeared that used to be there.
Probably that's what it is now.
Well, and it, you know what? It also depends on which version of Google Plus you're using, whether you're using the old one or whether you're using the new one.
Okay.
So
I am still using the old one. Let
yeah,
me see the. mm,
yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
but
In the new one, it's this one,
yeah, there.
and
It's
it
right
is,
up there in that corner there.
yeah, it's this one.
There it is.
But again, it's called as notifications on or off. So even in the old one, it is still called as turn the notifications on or off, and it is
Yeah,
given that bell symbol. Whereas
yeah,
here there is no symbol; it's just that
yeah.
um, drop down
And
menu from there.
and the other thing that people need to know about that is it's you can turn the notifications on or off for each individual collection,
Yeah.
not all of them. So so there's that, and we sort of got off on a tangent here. But the last thing that I would like us to touch on just a little bit before we close, that is engagement within communities.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that when people are new to Google Plus, they get bombarded with information. You might like to join this community or that community or whatever. It pops up, and people they just click on things.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, some communities are public, so anybody can just go in and participate.
Mm-hmm.
Some communities require that you ask to join, and the moderator looks at your material
Mm-hmm.
and decides whether to allow you to join this community. And then there's another kind that is absolutely private, and those are only open to people who have been specifically invited in. So the public one, all of the things that we said about, posting and engaging are true in there. But there's a couple of other things that come up in the sense of the middle example that I gave. When you say, well, I would like to join this community, I, as a moderator for my community, I go in and I look to see who this person is. And I go right back to what Vivek said. I go and look at their profile, I look to see what they're interested in, I notice whether they have their profile picture, I notice whether they bothered to put in their own personal information, I look to see whether they've done any posting. And if they haven't done any of those things, then chances are I don't approve them. So when and for me, sometimes I will approve people if I really think that they're brand new, because I think that they might find something within my community that's helpful to them. I will invite them in, but then I welcome them, I plus mention them, I welcome them, and invite them to come in and introduce themselves. Most people don't ever get there. And an example of that was this week. Vivek said, oh, I've been a member of this community and I haven't introduced myself. So what did he do? He put in a wonderful little sort of, I don't know, it was less than a minute, wasn't it? An introduction of himself. And that's a very creative way to do that. But you can also just do it by text if you want to. So if you want to, engagement within a community, when people mention you and do something to start a conversation, you got to respond.
Otherwise, it's like you're trying to talk to someone and that person is not responding. It feels that person is being rude.
Yeah. So, well, it either that or the person did all this and forgot about it, or forgot how to get in there, or I mean, there's all kinds of reasons. I don't necessarily think it's rudeness, but if we want to learn how to engage, we have to do these things.
Yeah.
So, and the other piece inside a community, this is my last piece before we stop the broadcast. This is true of inside a community or outside a community or in a collection or wherever. If I create a personal message to a person, in other words, this is a personal message that is going only to them. So it's a personal message with a plus mention to only one person, and that means it's only shared with them. If I mention a topic, or I mention something to them, or ask them a question, I mean, that would be having somebody meet you in a public place and speak to you and ask you a question, and it would be like you turning your back and walking away. So if somebody does send you a personal message, the least you can do is answer them. So
the least you can do is actually plus one them. But if the message is just to that person, then plus one doesn't mean anything.
It's a plus one is not useful. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've covered all the pieces. I'm sorry we were a little bit disorganized this morning, but I think we covered all the aspects of engaging in Google+. The only thing I would say is that if you're over in Facebook, it's about liking, and the same concepts apply. There may be a slightly different way to do it, but the same concepts apply. And I'm just going to say, Paul, wouldn't you say the same is true over in LinkedIn?
Yes. I listening to you guys this morning has tired me out. LinkedIn is a very easy place to play. You simply invite people to be part of your community, and people invite you. I have a very simple rule there. When someone invites me, I graciously accept their invitation and ask them how I can help them. If they have no reply to that, I usually don't follow them too much, because there's no sense of engagement there. And when people join my community, I ask them, when I invite them to my community, it's usually because I'm commenting on something that they've done that has sparked my interest in their being part of my community. So I don't sort of randomly invite people. I look for things that they've done that are of interest to me and come in that manner. So yeah, that's easy.
These are common principles that are and I would say even within the wealthy affiliate. community. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same on whatever platform we're on.
Yeah, that's because that's how we engage people when we're not on a platform.
Yeah.
With real
It's not
people.
that much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Okay, so I think we've. I had a friend that used to say, "I think we beat that subject to death." So, I think it's time for us to move on and close. And I want to just close by reminding people to please join the Being Your Own CEO community, and please engage in there in whatever way that you're comfortable with at this moment in time. But just know that there are ways to make that more comfortable. And the last thing I want to say is that I've published my portable business coach yesterday, and you'll find references to that both in my collections and in the Being Your Own CEO community. So until next week, this is Loa Ann signing off for now. And thank you to Paul and Vivek and Jay, who has left us already, and Nathan. So bye for now.